So welcome to this episode of The Rumble. My guest today is Albert Faria. Now he does a whole bunch of things. I can't describe all the things that he does because he does a lot. But what is interesting is that at some point he realized that his passion also lies in making films, getting into the movie business. So welcome to the show, Albert.
Thank you.
Did you feel the need for it when you first entered into filmmaking, that somebody was coming to teach you all these things? Therefore you became an instructor?
I tried to look for guidance. You look in the internet, you find a lot of information, you understand what independent filmmaking is all about, you look about it. And at the same time, you have people who are from the conventional part of the business who
entered in the normal way.
Okay. They would have started out when they finished their school itself.
True.
Because they had this fascination of being with stars and things like that. So at 17 they would have started their career.
Okay.
But by the time they are 40,
with no qualification,
so
they're always in awe of everybody.
Absolutely. See, if my understanding is correct, a D.F.Tech or somebody who's qualified. Quite very few. It's only about 30 or 45 seats probably from Tamil Nadu Institute.
A whole year.
Okay. And so the graduation happens from that way. Okay, BSc Visual Communication came in the 90s.
Yes.
It set a particular trend. But it's kind of...
But the demand also kept increasing.
So, exactly. There's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
Now, today you have the digital media, which is,
made things a little easy now.
Much more easier.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, why not look at and start off the passion which I began. So when I looked for help, I was talking to people. I got some help from some quarters. I had been...
Did a lot of people mislead you?
Tried misleading.
Deliberately?
Not, I wouldn't say deliberately, but it's their point of view of the industry.
Okay.
So
you're being generous.
So, because they went through that track. So they obviously
they know that's the only way.
That's the way it works.
They know that one.
They know, okay, it's a sure shot thing.
Yeah.
If you go this way, you will be able to look at it. I thought, okay, why not I look at it from a different standpoint,
Correct.
Work from a different area. But as I said, today that the competition is so high, people, you have so many short filmmakers, you have so many people. But at every stage, there are people who do not know how to go about it. They have a story.
That's how it starts. It starts
in my head. So I said, okay, why not we help these people? Why not we try and we coordinate with them? So bring them all together under a particular banner and work with them. So as of now, the service that I probably do is free of cost. It doesn't have anything. I have a website called as ChennaiFilmCareers.com.
Okay.
So I asked them...
it's very clearly mentioned ChennaiFilmCareers.com. So you can't get any more explicit than that.
So, but okay, we thought we will start with people who wanted acting as a profession, so because that is where the glamour is all.
True.
And I know when people say, they put a small, put on a cooling glass and they'll take a selfie.
They come and pose or put a selfie.
And, in a medium like Facebook, you find nice, great, looking fantastic.
Yeah.
People start thinking that, okay, that alone is sufficient.
That's all you need to go
into into an acting career.
So what do they come up and tell you? They show you a photograph of themselves?
They say, sir, I am looking for a chance. I can act.
Okay.
So how do I act?
As a proof of they show you a photograph.
Just a photograph. I said,
generally.
Okay, a photograph with a cooling glass doesn't even show you the eyes. It's the most expensive
you should
part
make a picture without them.
Right. That's the first basic thing that anybody has to know when they want to kind of go into
I remember
acting.
Many years ago when youngsters want a career in cinema, they used to have photographs taken by some portfolio guys. And one standard shot used to be a kind of side profile where they'll have a cigarette in their mouth, the clouds of smoke, sometimes with sunglasses, and looking into the distance. Those were the kind of shots they used to do. I don't know how anybody could...
It's basically, okay, see, now the photographer doesn't know much about filmmaking as such. He says, okay, you strike a pose, and what they recollect from films is what they...
The hero's poses.
The hero's poses or the villain's poses.
Yeah.
Some people are very creative. They probably try different things. So, as I was saying, we call people for auditions from time to time, for independent filmmakers. So I primarily work with...
So you're let's say an exchange where people come from different areas and ask
me. They register onto the site. Then I call them if I have an independent filmmaker looking for cast for their particular project.
Okay.
So then I try to sync with them. But believe me, it's so difficult to get them to an audition. Out of 30 people who I call, only 3 turn up for an audition.
Yeah, why is that? I've seen that. Is it that when it actually comes to shove, they back out?
They back out, yes. See, people, the moment they do an act, they find themselves and they discover that they are inadequately prepared.
Correct.
So that is the basic issue. So, and secondly, they always think, okay, somebody is calling me, are they going to, rob me of my money? So this is the second thing.
Oh, that's okay.
So that's another thing.
So that's a fear.
So some people openly ask, sir, are you taking any money? I say, no, I'm not taking any money.
Not yet,
at least. But then I have different way of looking at it. So, I try explaining to them after they finish the audition.
So do you do like a music company where they find a talent and we sign them up and say, sign for so many years, and if we get you a job, this will be your remuneration. Out of that, a percentage will come to us. So do you do stuff like that scientifically?
Well, that is the process. That is the
casting
process.
agency.
Exactly. A typical talent agency is what we
strive to be.
Yes, strive to be.
Okay.
But the difference is we just don't want to take in people and say, okay, you come, you make a portfolio. See, what most of these model coordinators do is they take a portfolio. That's where they make their buck. Say they charge about 10,000 or 15,000 bucks for the portfolio, of which 5K comes to them. I don't know. I'm just giving a number.
I can understand.
I can understand. So they get a cut.
There may be some agencies who do a little more than that, but
yes.
generally, but that's what he says. Generally, this is what these famous agencies do. They just catch a guy who walks in, he's unsure, but he's got some money, wants to be in the middle. Take some money, give him a portfolio, and tell him then we'll look out for you. So when we come back, we'll find out from him what happens after these things are done. So when guys come to you and ask you what you should do, and you are not doing what the regular people are doing, which is take a portfolio, take some money from them, and then promise them all kinds of things. Right. What exactly do you do?
Okay. I call them for an audition straight away with a short filmmaker or an independent filmmaker.
Okay.
I position them saying that this person is interested, do audition him.
Okay.
And once they find that this person has some substance...
Oh, these guys who do the audition themselves are professionals.
Yes,
so they do a professional audition.
Exactly.
Instead of just saying, laugh for me and cry for me.
They give a dialogue. What I do is I get a set of...
that's a sensible way of going about it.
So we tell them, okay, you prepare on this. Yeah. You memorize the lines, come to the audition.
So where do you get those scripts from?
Oh, we generate it. It's part of the script itself. Say, if the independent filmmaker has a script ready.
No, let's say you want to just vet out one newcomer. Do you probably have plenty of these?
I make a script. For example, I did one with these guys. I said, okay, I just wrote a few lines saying it's an argument between two brothers who had a very hard early days, and they've grown into men. And there's an argument between them on the value system. So I said, okay. Now,
so that gives you a scope to check them out.
Check them out. It gives you a varying intention. You start off slowly. With a normal voice.
How do they interpret what they say?
And then they go and speak on a loud voice. Some people are very smart. In fact, the guys who have real talent understand what is expected. They try to bring out the best in them. Similarly, for the short film project called KV, which I did recently, I auditioned a youngster. He already had done a few films, as in he did some support roles in, I think one of the projects he did was 18/9.
All right.
And he was looking for a nice role. I said, okay, come over, let's talk. So I gave him the script. As he read the script, he said, boss, should I do it this way? I said, yes, this is what it is. So he went through it and he said, okay, should I do it this way? I said, yes, you're right. So
it's guys like that who will actually succeed.
Absolutely.
Interpret and do it.
Of course. So there are a lot of other factors as well that takes a person to be successful. Of course, promotions and the other marketing aspects that is required to promote a person.
Is it true that a youngster want to get in the movies as I wouldn't say hero. Hero may come, may not come. In a fairly substantial role. Do they end up paying money to producers? Is that an accepted practice?
See, it is an accepted practice. We can't deny that.
There's no point in saying that bad things about it, but that is the practice.
That is the practice.
You want to break...
The trend has been set. So, let me put it this way. Assume that I'm going to make a movie and I know that my budget is about 90 lakhs. But if I'm short of it by, say, 30 or 40 lakhs, and I tell this guy, see, I'm doing the movie, I have so much of money with
and I'm short of so much.
Do you think you'll be able to bring something? See, this is a sensible way.
Yeah.
But at times, people say, okay, you do this movie if you bring this, no matter what you do. See,
whether you're good or bad. Okay.
See, that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. So, actually, you break the guy's career. See, the guy comes, puts his money, he acts in the film.
He's simply incapable of doing it in any case.
And then when he doesn't make the grade,
he fails.
He's really upset, and he goes back. He says, "Okay, fine."
Probably comes after you with a sharp pointed object.
Maybe he knows. See, we have a way as human beings. We have a way to come out of things. We say, I did what you wanted. You wanted to make a movie with you. I introduced you to the movie. I made the movie for you. Okay. If it doesn't work...
Somebody else told me to look at the same problem in another way, which is, if you wish to be a surgeon, a doctor, or a dentist, or whatever, you have to go to college, and you have to pay for a 3-year education, spend that time reading that. You just can't go tomorrow with your little pliers and say, I'm ready to pluck out any tooth that comes in front of me. Right. So if you want to get training that way, so this is how you get training here. You pay your way through.
See, unfortunately, I don't believe in that method. Okay. Because I feel, in fact, most of the people I'm associated with don't believe in that method. But if we have a producer who says, see, boss, I need somebody. We tell them. What I do is I tell them upfront, if you want to do this movie, there is a cost to it, and you have to invest. And there's
not any guarantee that you pay the money, you will get it either. You have to pass all the rest of it.
Through the, there's a kind of...
the audition process.
I've known good actors who have been signed for movies. Okay. And after about 3-4 weeks, they would have thought that they are going to be part of it. They are, unceremoniously chucked out, and somebody else is doing the role because,
he couldn't pay up.
He couldn't pay. Not that he was asked to pay. He couldn't do it. It is not told. It's not even told. See,
I see. So he also mystified. Why did I get chucked out?
I didn't get a chance. See, he would have been a good friend of the director. The producer would have been somebody else. Now, the producer maybe has somebody who has a vested interest in the project. And if he brings that person in and he says, okay, do this movie. So this guy has to, the director wants to make a cut.
Yes.
So he says, okay, you wait for this. He tells his friend, see, boss, wait for a chance. Sometimes he's told, sometimes he's not told. So this is a little, at times people have to be selfish.
Is it the same process for guys and girls? Or is it girls becomes a whole new thing and we know what all exploitation happens there?
Oh, yes. So I've heard of these exploits. In fact, whenever I've asked conventional model coordinators for an actress, saying that the first thing they ask is, okay, what is your budget?
Yeah.
They use this word, with compromise or without compromise.
Yeah, to signify whether the woman will sleep around or not.
So
it's amazing.
So there's a cost to it, according to them. According to them, there's a cost to it. So he says, okay, with adjustment, without adjustment. I said, what with adjustment? Okay, so so he doesn't explain because he doesn't want to bite the bullet himself.
Yeah,
so he says, okay, this is where it is. And then I say, see, I need the person to perform. I need a person who has expressive eyes.
Check the talent.
Check the talent. We don't care about all this
whatever
stuff.
Else happens.
So we don't know about the producer, but if the producer says that's the producer's headache. We'll say that these are the people who are available who have been shortlisted. Unfortunately, at this point in time, since we are making our own projects, we are producing our own stuff. We don't indulge in these things, and it doesn't make sense at all.
This is for a real filmmaker as opposed to somebody who's looking for some fun and games.
And I believe that it's time that some amount of professionalism is brought into this system.
All right, so he says it's not necessary that all these horrible casting couch stories are all true. Maybe there's some he doesn't know. It could happen to anyone. But there is still a system. So when we come back, we find out what is the actual way one should approach the industry, not come there with false ideas and get disappointed. So what's the average career path of somebody who's entered the movie, wants to become a hero? How long does it take for him to even get noticed?
That's $1 million question if I have to put it that way. Because first of all, a person has to be recognized as an actor. That's the first and foremost thing. So which means, say, 2 or 3 movies of that particular person has to be released.
Okay.
It has to be received.
That's critical. It has to be released.
It has to be released, yes. It has to be released. Some people are lucky enough to get that opportunity. Even if they don't get a release, they know people. So they know that strings can be pulled here and then they get a few other opportunities.
Okay.
So once a movie is released, it has to have a decent, acceptability.
Okay.
Once
so
that is done,
okay.
Yes, he says okay, he can, and then from there he goes on to make new.
Because he uses those films as his visiting card.
Yes, as his entry, and he goes ahead. Now, having said that, for example, if we take somebody who has done a role as a rural or a small town person,
okay.
Now, if the person is stuck in that mold,
Yeah.
or if he has such that mannerisms as part of his being itself, then it's going to be difficult for him to do something which is like an urban role. Okay. Of course, in an urban situation, maybe you.
How would you rate Sivakarthikeyan, for example? He doesn't come across like a sophisticate.
Yes.
Not into tuxedos and drinking wine and stuff.
Yes.
He's like a small town
boy. See, now he has molded himself well for any rural role.
Okay.
And he's doing successfully, and he knows his limitations, if my understanding is correct.
Okay.
Because he's been having watched him, he's been sensibly selecting his movies. However, if he wants to do a very suave urban role, then he needs to make that transition from
where he is now.
Not only in his appearance, also in his way of thinking.
Yeah, his body language,
approach,
his mannerisms.
Everything in the mannerisms.
His dress sense.
Yeah. Which may be a tall order.
So is that happens because somebody recognized the potential and goes about to transform him, or is he able to transform himself?
Well, let me give you another example. I think that's very valid. People like actors like Prashant and Arun Vijay.
Okay.
Extremely talented people.
Yeah.
But somehow they are stuck in certain roles.
Okay.
And they are not able to come out from there.
Okay.
Whether they have the right advisors. Again, as I said, see, movie making is a dream factory.
Yeah,
so,
true.
What we try to say may work, may not work. So India is not like Hollywood or the international market where people do a very kind of roles, and they excel in doing each and every role. We don't have that kind of a.
You're slotted straight away.
Okay. Either you're a good guy or
you're good for this, you're good for that.
So if you're good at comedy, you get straight-jacketed, compartmentalized as a comedian. Okay. You try to break that mold. For example, actor Vivek, with all due respects, he's a wonderful actor.
Yeah.
But he's a good comedian. He tried to do a serious movie. I don't know how much his new movie, Nan Bala, I don't know how good it is made. But I don't know how much whether he's going to set that trend.
Why would they even want to move out of a slot where they're comfortable?
Well, the point is, see, what next?
Or is it because they themselves realize that they are limited and the greater world is lying outside what they're doing?
Competition again.
Yeah.
See, until some point, Senthil Kaundamani were the comedy pair.
Uncrowned Kings.
Yeah. Then there came a time when a few others entered. Vadivel walked in. People like Santanam walked in. So when Vivek, Vadivel were there, they were ruling the roost to a reasonable level. And then Santanam entered. His kind of comedy seems to be what is acceptable now. Working there. So, they find that they have to now move around and take few other better characters to, upgrade themselves.
Develop or perish.
Yeah. Or you just remain as a comedian and, you're known only for that.
Some people survive like that. They do one crazy act in one movie and forever and ever they will always pick out that one role.
That's possible. But then again, see, it's one in a million. Not everybody gets that opportunity.
Correct. But do you see the transition from one level of stardom into what is the superstardom level? That again cannot be forecast, cannot be developed.
Can never be.
Either good fortune smiles on you or not.
Well, see, the number of movies you do is what commands your price as an actor. That's true.
That's also there.
Yeah. So the same goes for a director.
Yes.
Or any other, technician, a cameraman or a cinematographer, whoever it is. So you need to be good at your trade.
And I think a successful movie rubs off on everybody.
On everybody, yes.
All the people.
So
you say, I was the fourth guy who was at this fourth row, but it was a successful movie.
So everybody gets the credit. See, the moment you say, it does have a rub-off effect. See, it's something like a branding exercise. So you say, you are part of this project. And if somebody says, it's 100 crores, it made 100 crores at the box office. Well, then, you look at it. However, sometimes new producers get misled by that as well, because see, whether the guy has contributed substantially to that or not is a matter of question. There's no verifiable.
That's really what you need to find out.
So that's the business. So people go talking about various things. I did this, I did that. But is it verifiable?
We're still a very hero-driven industry, isn't it? All of Indian cinema.
Very much.
I don't know whether we'll ever have. Probably there are some who can be like an Angelina Jolie, who's a brand by herself, and carry one movie on her own shoulders.
Sure.
Do we have a lot of them in this country? I mean, names won't come to me so easily, but I'm sure that are there any equivalent of that here?
Probably. I mean, see again, I don't say it's proven. See, Vidya Balan did an act which where she carried the movie with that character that she did in Dirty Picture.
Yeah.
But Kahani was reasonably successful, but then it looked like a parallel film. It was not. Nobody was sure whether it's a mainstream.
That's
so now you need to continue, repeating success in that commercial forum. Only then you become. You say, okay, fine. Now this person can do this on her own, on his own, which is what many actors see. For that matter, today, you have the next rung of actors, which is Vijay, Ajit, and all of them doing a decent job as far as their box office is concerned. They make the minimum guarantee, as I call it.
They're stars.
So they make that, and they're able to. So the next rung is getting into action, but whether they will have the superstardom which Rajinikanth sir had.
Is the future ever going to see those levels of superstardom?
I doubt.
It that adoring public days are gone? Everybody's too discerning.
I think the craze of the fans will remain. That will prevail. Will prevail because see you. It's a role model. Fan is a fan. See, so you look at him as a role model. So you will have your fans, but singularly, like what MGR or Rajinikanth had, singularly, swaying the audience to your tunes. It may not happen in the coming future. I mean, that's my opinion. I may be wrong. But we can't.
Yeah, because they had such a disproportionate sense of influence over everybody. Whatever they did, whether it's politics or get into
absolutely.
Production, business, they still managed to be superstars.
In fact, they learnt the trade over a period of time. Most of these people who were successful across.
Have you picked any winners so far in any field? At least maybe in technical side. Do you think?
No.
But it'll come, I guess.
Hopefully. So that's the quest at the moment.
So Albert, thanks for coming across.
Thank you so much.
It's been lovely talking to you, and I hope you really help more and more people because it's an area where they all need help.
Thank you.
Sure as hell.
Sure.
Thank you.
I will do my best. Thank you.